What's going on, everyone? It's Professor Leis here. In this video, I would like to show you around our Canvas site to provide you with a brief tour to get oriented so you know how to begin working in our course. So what we're currently looking at is the home page for our Canvas site for English 1. Now to the left, the far left, we have what's called the global navigation bar. This is all of the stuff that pertains to Canvas as a whole, so regardless of which class you're looking at, this should remain the same. Now the thing I want to point out here is the inbox. This is what, if you hear me throughout the semester, you'll hear me say, message me on Canvas, or I sent out a message. This is where you're going to find those messages, and this is where you can go if you need to send me a message. So that's something to pay attention to right there, the inbox. Now next to that we have what's called the local navigation bar, and so this is all the stuff that's specific to our Canvas site. So we have the home screen, which is what we're looking at here. We have modules, which we will take a look at in a few moments. We have announcements. This is where you can find all of the announcements I'll post throughout the semester. Also, the most recent announcements will be included on the home page here. So we already have one announcement that I've posted, the welcome letter. So this is something that you'll want to take a look at. We have Tech Connect Zoom. So this is what you would click on to find the links for our weekly Zoom meetings every Friday. We have assignments, which is where you can go to find the various projects and activities we'll be doing this semester. Discussions, this is where you'll find the discussions, of course. Syllabus, grades, online learning, student technology help desk, purchase course materials, and the Success Center. I'll link to all the resources there. Now on the far right, we have a to-do list. So I want to just point out what these different icons mean. So this little megaphone means that it's an announcement, and this is that welcome letter that I was referring to up here. We have this little calendar thing, which refers to our Zoom meeting, our next scheduled Zoom meeting. We have this little assignment with a pencil that indicates that it's an activity that you need to complete. And then we have these little dialogue bubbles, which indicates that it's a discussion. So just pay attention to those. So that's where you can look to see your to-do lists in a given week, in addition to looking at the modules, which again, we'll take a look at momentarily. Now I want to point out all of this information about our course textbook. We'll begin using this course textbook the second week of the semester. So if you haven't made arrangements to get this book, by then you're going to need to do so immediately. So I have all the publication information, Habits of the Creative Mind, that's the title of our book, and we're using the second edition. It must be the second edition. So the cover will look like this, but yes, it must be the second edition because the content has been changed across those two editions there. So here's the ISBN. I've also included links to purchase and rental options for you. So a link directly to the publisher of the book, a link to chegg.com, and then a link to the Long Beach City College bookstore. Any of these would be a perfectly great option for obtaining the book, either in electronic or physical form. Just keep in mind, if you're planning to get the physical copy of the book, you're going to want to make some time for having it delivered. So don't delay. Make sure that you get this book immediately. You'll need this book in order to succeed in the course. All right, so let's go and take a look at modules. So each week there will be a new module available for you. So in these modules, you'll find all of the activities and the various resources that we'll need to complete those activities for each given week. So you'll always find an introduction page. It's really important that you get in the habit of reading these weekly introduction pages at the start of the week. So let's go ahead and take a look here. They will all resemble this, more or less. I'll have a paragraph or two that explains what we're doing in that week, so provide some context. And then I'll have an agenda for our class meeting, and then so whatever we're going to cover in that class meeting, and then the responsibilities that you need to complete by these given deadlines. So we'll be working with 2 deadlines a week. So it's just important to pay attention to how things will be laid out in a given week, and you can find that in these introduction pages. So it's really important that you get in the habit of reading those. So let's go back out to the module view here. So I've included the welcome letter here, so that's the same document that's in that, in the announcement that I showed you. So make sure that you read that welcome letter this week before we meet for our first class session. We have the course syllabus, which is of course, the principal document of our course that explains all the various policies and protocols for our class. So you're going to want to take a look at that, and we'll be covering that in our first class meeting. We have the grade and project breakdown, which explains how we'll be conducting assessment in this class. I have another page for Habits of the Creative Mind, second edition, so you can find all of that information I showed you on the home screen here as well. So it's just another location you can find it. And then here we have our discussion, so the student introduction discussion post. This is where you're going to introduce yourself to the class. So when you click on this, there's going to be a prompt that explains what you should include in that introduction and how you should go about composing it. There's a brief video that I'd like you to watch here as well that goes through that process, explains it. So watch that brief video first. And then we have these two activities, how to work effectively and reading actively. These are things that are meant to get us started on the right foot, so to speak. So we're going to learn some various strategies for working effectively from home. Even though most of us are probably pretty familiar with online education at this point, it's still important to take a look and learn some effective strategies for how we can make the most of our experience. And then reading actively, how we can make the most of reading in our course. So how can we read actively? So each of these has a prompt in here, so you can find all of that contained within each one. All right, everyone. Well, that's about it for this tour video. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and send me a message on Canvas, or you can send me an email at my Long Beach City College email account. However, I do prefer the messages feature in Canvas over my email address, just because I tend to check Canvas much more frequently than my email address. But all right, well, I look forward to meeting everyone in our first class session. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.